Cool, cool. So, welcome back to another episode. Hey, man, we have a returning guest, Andres Soto, with us. Andres, dude, thanks so much for being down to join us again and talk another week of Dodger baseball. But man, it comes to the end of the season, end of the postseason, post World Series, man. So, I want to start off by asking you, man, since we last spoke, this was before the first game, before Yankees and Dodgers, and you spoke about, it might be a tough back and forth, and you never know how it's gonna go. Both great teams. To me, it looked like it was a lot easier W for the Dodgers than anything. But what do you think?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, glad to be back on the show. And yeah, well, so my original prediction, I think I talked about it on the show. I think I had the Dodgers winning in six. Dodgers ended up winning in five games. So I'm pretty glad to be wrong about that. But yeah, it was definitely once they got the momentum going in that series, you kind of realized, the Dodgers proved that they're a way better team than the Yankees are. And I think a lot of that just speaks to the National League in general is a lot more has a lot better teams, better competition than the American League. If you look at the path the Dodgers took to get to that series, their biggest test was really in the first round against the San Diego Padres. Like that's when they were down 2-1. They were facing elimination. They had to battle all the way back. That kind of made that Dodgers team battle tested. That made them they kind of went through the fire in that first round. Then they get the Mets. We're kind of a lot like the Yankees, very very good offensive team. So I think that also helped them prepare in a lot of ways. The Yankees, on the other hand, they played the Kansas City Royals and Cleveland Guardians, two good teams, but they didn't pose the same challenges that the Padres and the Mets did for the Dodgers. So they definitely, I think, the paths to get there definitely weren't the same. So yeah, if you look at the scouting report that came out after the series ended, the Dodgers front office and the coaching staff they told their players that the Yankees were a team of talent over fundamentals. That what you all you really have to do to beat them was to put the ball in play, put the pressure on them defensively, and that they would eventually fuck up and beat themselves. And that's kind of what happened. You really saw that in Game Five, that fifth inning.
Yeah, people were saying they were making like little league mistakes, right?
Yeah, man, it's like you saw when Garrett Cole, the Yankee starting pitcher, he didn't cover first base. That's literally a day one little league thing. That's like one of the first things they tell you when you start playing baseball is that the pitcher has to cover first. And he failed to do that, and that would have gotten them out of the inning without allowing a run. Instead, they let the first run score. Freddie Freeman comes up to bat, brings in two more runs. Then after that, Oscar Hernandez doubles, clears the bases, and ties the game. And all of that came from a lack of fundamentals.
I think of sports, especially because like I'm really into like basketball. But even when I think of basketball, I think of sports as being like a really kind of like a momentum kind of game, where it's like one team can have a momentum and it can be killed by like whatever the situation may be. I think the momentum killing happened in that first game when Freeman who did the grand slam. What do you think of that? Do you think that was kind of one of those things that kind of shifted the momentum? Was there another point in the game that you thought shifted the momentum, or is sports a momentum kind of game?
I think sports is a momentum kind of game. There are people that say that momentum isn't a real thing, but I think it definitely is real. It's something you could definitely feel. The momentum with Freeman's grand slam. I think that definitely it wasn't the deciding factor. I think you still had to win three more games after that, but that was a huge moment, an iconic moment nonetheless. It really reminded a lot of Dodger fans of the 1988 home run with Kirk Gibson. What I think though was really the biggest thing though was early in the series in game two, actually, at the end of game two. The Dodgers were up 4-1. They gave up a run in the ninth inning. They had runners on first and second. They're in danger of tying the game, of the Yankees tying the game. Blake Trinan eventually settles in. He gets those last outs that he needs. Dodgers go up 2-0. They end up winning both of their games at home. And that alone was huge. So if the Yankees would have come back to tie that game, they would have stolen a road game and gone back to New York tied 1-1. And that gives them a huge advantage going back home. So the Dodgers denied that by shutting the door in their face in that game and kind of made them feel like the ceiling was falling down a little bit. with the Yankees by going back home down 0-2 with their kind of backs against the wall, and that's kind of what we saw the rest of the way play out like that.
There was a lot of great moments within the World Series. Were there any of your favorites? Any favorite moments that stick out for you? One of the ones that you're like, damn man, that was such a great historic moment.
Oh, that Freddie Freeman gun slam, that was like definitely one of the the most for me probably the most iconic moment that I've ever seen the Dodgers be a part of because they were losing at that point. They were like down to their last strike. And I remember I was watching and my mom was kind of like, "Oh, imagine if he hits a grand slam right here." And I was trying to like keep my expectations down, but as soon as you see the ball come off his bat, I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute!" Like you see it, just there's just no doubt about it goes into the stands, and I just went crazy. Like that was uh that was historic for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Pepe Tadoro, one of our past guests here. But he did one of those animations where Freeman he did the animation of Freeman hitting the home run or the grand slam, and then the ball reaches Fernando Valenzuela in the skies, and so that was kind of like a cool notion, a cool also kind of connecting, bridging all these generations. So that was a really dope animation. Kind of reminded me of like that year that the Lakers and the Dodgers also won it during COVID, and it was also recently during the time when Kobe had also passed. But it's just one of those cool things in sports, right? Where like there's like these generational things that happen, but also these moments and time periods that are stamped through these great moments in sports, for sure. Dodgers won. I saw you were at the parade. How was it, man? I saw it from online, and that should look like there was a lot going on that day.
Yeah. So first of all, I was at the parade for work. So I was covering the parade for the LA Times, and it was crazy, man. So I left my house. I want to say like at 7 o'clock because I took the metro. So I took the metro from Azusa. As soon as I got on the train, really Azusa is like the first stop on the Metro Blue Line. The train was already full of like people waiting to go to the parade. So that's kind of the first time that I knew I was in for a crazy day. I think I got there around 8:30. I was at the finish line. I was there. I got to walk around a little bit. Got some good interviews with some really interesting people. But maybe about like an hour later, it just got so crowded to the point that I just couldn't move around anymore. Like I was literally stuck exactly where I was. But it was amazing, man. It was just seeing so many people just happy and like just full of like pride and just admiration. And it was insane, man. You could see people were climbing up. They had like these trucks barricading the sides. They weren't the garbage trucks. They were like these yellow, like it looked like they were cement trucks kind of. People were climbing into those and on top of those to get a better view. People were climbing up on street lights. People were climbing up into the trees to get a better view.
Misspelling Dodgers, huh?
Yeah, bro, TikTok took my video down.
Oh, why? What happened?
They said it was promoting criminal activity, and I'm like, bro, that's fucking whack, man. That's journalism. I'm documenting what happened. Like, this guy got like 200K views on that, so it's cool while it lasted.
That's awesome. Yeah, hell yeah, man. You know, now the postseason ended, and now the talks is how sustainable is this team. I was watching that at the parade when it ended at Dodger Stadium. They were going on the podium, and team members were talking, and a lot of the conversation was like, we want to have this for a few years to come. Like they're talking dynasty wise. But then we also know that like a lot of players are also up for like free agency and like conversations about who's staying, who's leaving the team. What do you think? How sustainable is this Dodgers teams with all the players that they have at the moment?
Oh, it's absolutely sustainable. Like you got their all their big name players are under contract. Shohei had that 10 year. He's got 10 years on his contract still. Mookie Betts, I believe, still has like about 8 years. I think Freddie Freeman's halfway through his contract, so he's under team control for the next 3 years. So that's kind of the big three right there. Obviously, the biggest free agents, they also got Hernandez, but he's made it clear that he wants to stay with the Dodgers. Whether they keep him or not remains to be seen, but we'll see how that plays out. Um, and the Dodgers are just one of those teams that they do this. Like the 2024 team looks a lot different than the 2020 team. They're really good at even if they let some players go, they're really good at finding talent and reloading. They have a really good farm system, a lot of young players that that they can either move up and see how they handle playing at the big league level, or they trade them for, another star. That's kind of how they've been operating. They have that flexibility for sure to keep this thing going for the foreseeable future.
For sure, man. It's that winning culture of LA, I would say. And speaking of LA, I want to talk about like once that season ends, baseball season ends. Now it's the beginning of basketball season. You know, uh, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a Clips fan, so I'm excited. So,
You're like the
yeah,
third Clipper fan I've ever met in my life, bro.
for real.
Yeah.
Nah, that's crazy. Nah, hell no. I've been around since Corey Maggette, Chris Kaman, good times. But now the Clippers are have this new arena. The Lakers now have Bronny, but man, it's like they've been also winning with JJ Redick and things. And yeah, I'm what so now baseball season's come to an end, and now the season that's beginning, or it's been on more on the beginning side, it started last month, is basketball season. So my question to you is, how are the LA teams for basketball looking, men and women's? How are those teams looking for this upcoming season?
Yeah, man. So obviously, as you can tell by my hat, I am a Laker fan, lifelong. My earliest memories are the Shaq and Kobe three-peat, so I'm very spoiled. Um, the Lakers look good, man. They look good. They were 3-0 to start the season, which was hasn't happened since Phil Jackson's last year. Um, they had like a quick 2-game losing streak after that, but seems like they got back on the winning side in their last game. But they look really, really solid. AD looks like he might be an MVP this year. JJ Redick, for all the the hype or maybe criticism that people had in hiring him, he looks like he's been a great hire so far. Yeah, definitely has. He has such a knowledge of the game that Darvin Ham didn't have, and it just everything looks like it's trending up right now in LA. The new stadium for the Clippers, was it Intuit Dome? That's nice, man. Have you been there yet?
I haven't. You been to it? You seen it inside?
Yeah, so I was there for a concert back in August, I think, when it like barely opened, and yeah, it's a really really nice arena. It's kind of weird because they have like instead of like scanning your ticket, like they just like scan your face like as you walk in. So it's like
That's
you
how
don't
it
have to
is,
like
right?
stop for it. Yeah, like so you don't stop for anything. You just keep going straight like every single
But
time. Yeah,
it's supposed to
that's
be like one
weird.
of the most advanced stadiums and whatnot, and like one of
Yeah.
like the most like home friendly, like the best crowd and stuff. But I don't know, I haven't been. I'm excited to check it out this season.
Yeah, it's a cool arena for sure. I can't wait to see Laker fans fill it up when they play each other.
That's gonna be tight. That's gonna be that's definitely gonna be an environment for sure, for sure, for sure. I wonder what I do wonder is it'll be mostly populated by Laker fans or Clipper fans, even though like there's a shift in stadium. What happened?
You already know the answer to that, man.
I know, man. But hey, hopefully the walls will gives us that advantage. Hopefully, we'll see,
The
man.
wall is cool. The wall is a great concept.
Yeah,
I hope more owners take notice of that, and like 'cause that's a really cool idea.
yeah, for sure. What about the I saw you're also covering like more of the local college basketball levels, UCLA's. How are they looking also with their season, their sports season?
So I just covered their media day at the beginning of last week. I know they played today. They opened their season in Paris, which is really cool. One of the players, Angela Dugalic, she actually played for Serbia in the Paris Olympics this year. So she got to go back this week as a UCLA Bruin, which is a really cool experience for her. Yeah, this is the first time UCLA has ever played a season opener on international soil. I think that just kind of goes to show just how much women's basketball has exploded in recent years. We have two top five women's basketball teams in Los Angeles. USC is ranked number three, I believe, and UCLA was ranked number five. So obviously USC has Juju Watkins, who I think the best way to describe Juju Watkins is she's the Jordan to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Like, that's how I can describe Juju Watkins. She's a beast. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun year for sure. The women's basketball scene.
That's exciting for sure. I'm excited to see what basketball brings, because not only is it expanding, like you were saying, like women's, but also the international level, right? I saw my friend, he was covering earlier, the capitans from from Mexico or something like that. So it's cool to also see basketball kind of reaching these new levels internationally. But yeah, that's exciting for sure, for sure. Thanksgiving is this month. Thanks, whether you celebrate it or not. I wanted to ask you this last question. Anything you've been thankful for? Thankful for this year? Anything that you wanna, you know, put out in this holiday seasonal feels?
Yeah, man. So obviously first and foremost, always thankful for my health, my friends and family, that's all thanks to God. Thankful for, the opportunities I've had. This has been a pretty crazy year because this is my first year since I've been out of college that I haven't been working for ESPN. I kind of took a big bet on myself by going back to writing. And I think it's been paying off so far. It's been a fun ride for sure.
For sure, man. Hey, man, bro. Thanks so much for coming through the second time. Excited if there's any big sports moments, we know who to go to. We're gonna have Andres back on the show, Andres Soto. Andres Soto, man, thank you so much for coming through, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Glad to be here as always.